Hi, my name is Carly Miller, and this is a step-by-step video on how to cut unwanted ingredients out of your pantry. The purpose of this video is for individuals out there who want to change or cut out certain ingredients in their current diet. A year ago when I started this journey looking up specific videos, they were only tailored to certain diets, and this video would have been a huge help for me when I started my health journey over a year ago. When getting started, there's a few foundational steps to keep in mind. Number one, sustainable changes. We don't want to do all of this work for you to flop right back to your previous habits. This is something that takes time. I've been doing this for over a year now, and I feel like I've started to see the changes stick in my pantry. So just take it one day at a time, one step at a time, but no, the goal is to go for sustainable changes. The other thing I want to mention is understanding where you are on the step down principle. If you're currently eating out multiple times a week, a good goal would be to simply eat more often in your home. If you're currently cooking in your home, the majority of the time you could cut down from pre-made food to more homemade food or whole foods. If you are cooking your own meals and want to eat cleaner and cut out specific ingredients, that's what the rest of this video is going to help you to do. So be realistic with yourself and your starting point. The next question you want to answer is, what ingredients are you wanting to cut out of your pantry? And what are you going to transition to? Some of the most common are processed foods to whole foods or foods with fewer ingredients. Cut down added sugars and transition to more natural sugars. Change to healthier oils or cut out specific ingredients such as dyes, preservatives, allergenic foods, most commonly gluten or dairy. Some people may target GMOs or sodium. It's your decision. So figure out what is your target. This is where we get into our pantry and we start reading labels. And this is where things really started changing for me. So reading labels is your first step to understanding what is in the food you're eating. Reading labels takes a lot of time up front, but it does pay off and you'll learn what foods you'd like to transition to. First things first, when going through your pantry, I would suggest just pulling out all of the things you know you don't want. I am making this video right after the holidays, so I can immediately target all the added sugar, all of the things that we don't need to save to eat later because they're good. Let's come into my pantry. So again, I have done this for over a year now, so I have weeded out and changed a lot of products in my home, in my pantry, but you can still see things will creep in. So just start shelf by shelf, start at the bottom, start at the top, start wherever you want, and just take a thing and say, what are in these ingredients? If you're targeting added sugar, look at how much sugar is each of them. Decide, am I going to keep Frosted Flakes? Or do I want to keep these cereals? You might even decide you want to cut out cereal altogether. But again, sustainable changes. If your kids eat cereal all the time, you've got to have something to replace this with. And you've got to be willing to do the work to replace it with something else. If you're going to be making food that's a lot more time that maybe you're not used to. So what I would do is I would pull all of these things and put them just on my shelf over here and pull out everything that I know I don't want for starting. Okay, now just breaking down some of these things. This is one of those things. This is a great shortcut to a meal. This isn't something I normally use. My father bought it for me. That was really nice of him. And I can use this. I can keep this if that's something I feel like I want to use later because it's going to be a help to me. Great. But I'm to the point where I don't use things like this anymore. I don't cook with them. So I can give this away to somebody. Or a lot of times there's things like this. These were fun for the day. They were fun for my kids to eat. And I just trash them. I just get rid of them. Like, we don't have to eat things that we're given. We're saying yes to the health of our bodies and saying no to all of the added sugar. We don't need it. It's okay to get rid of it. And there's even things like this. These things sneak back in here. You're hosting a lot of people. This was great. But maybe I just put this back downstairs in my storage room and bring it out when I'm hosting, and that's easy for me. But there's also an amount of reality. If you are not gonna make homemade pancake mix, this is probably something you're still gonna keep in your pantry. Maybe one day when you do get the time to make homemade pancake mix, you can put that in your pantry and put this downstairs. Use this as your backup. I have a spot in my pantry for things. Down here, I keep like extra mac and cheese, or I had extra popcorn, different things like that. And slowly over time, I haven't used them anymore. I just make homemade mac and cheese. It's got 3 ingredients. It's super simple as long as you have half and half. So there's just an amount of getting used to something instead of always going to your box mac and cheese. You just got to train a new habit and have that ingredient on hand, which I didn't before. There's some things like this. This is a seasonal item. I bought caramel for caramel apples. Like, do I need this? It's been sitting in my pantry. Like, let go of it. Re-gift it. Do something with it. Some things like this, my kids are going to love it. Maybe you can hold on to some stuff. It's wherever you want to be, whatever you want to choose. It's up to you. I'm going to do just a quick walkthrough of my pantry of things that I've changed, even though I might still have some of those products in my pantry. Okay, for starters, cereal. Cereal is not something we eat in the breakfast anymore. It's something we use as an after-school snack, which has been great because my kids are actually full in the morning because we don't eat cereal. Something over here, we have just sugar syrup, and syrup is full of sugar anyways. But that was something I made the switch. I wanted to use natural maple syrup. It is a lot more expensive. So sometimes I keep this on hand when I host a lot of people because financially I can't really afford to provide organic natural maple syrup to other people. But this is something that maybe after the holidays I've done hosting, I'll put away. So something you can do, you can make your own bread. If not, you can just buy bread. Some things we've liked is switching snacks to dried fruit. I will say dried fruit still has a lot of sugar in it, and a lot of times it has added sugars. Lots of fruits have added sugar. So just because you see a fruit, you think, oh, it's healthy. Not necessarily. You need to see if it has no added sugar or not. And to be honest, sometimes the amount of sugar in it is the same as other ones that have added sugar. So that's up to you if you care about the source of that sugar, whether it's more natural or added. I do have a friend who's a nutritionist, and she did describe it to me that added sugars do taste a lot sweeter, so they can be a lot more addicting. So sometimes even though you're eating the same amount, where it's coming from can make a difference. This is something like I could just get rid of these if I wanted. There's some things you can switch. You can switch from these type of graham crackers to these type of graham crackers. Looking at the ingredients, you can see there's quite a difference in the types of ingredients. There's a lot less ingredients, and these actually stay crunchy for quite a while. I've really enjoyed these. Those are good. So just knowing what you're going to switch to. You're going to switch to these. I'm not going to have these on hand as much. Something we have switched to, I recently was given this popcorn. This is great, but we oftentimes, my kids and I have transitioned, and we actually enjoy just our popcorn kernels and are doing them in an air popper. The bag popcorn can sometimes make my stomach feel gross, and it doesn't when I do it with kernels. So again, these were snacks they got from Christmas parties. I usually have a little snack section. My husband likes these ones from Costco, these G2G bars. You know, pistachios. Something we do a lot for breakfast is oatmeal and just brown sugar. I have also steel cut oats back there. We do yogurt with granola a lot. There's different types of granola. This one is actually 0 sugar, but it has different sugar alcohols in it. So if you have blood sugar related issues, this can still cause a problem for that. I've got honey. I've got pre-made snack mixes that I made that were similar to ones at Costco, actually. Baking up here, this would be something my kids got that I would get rid of because we don't need this. We have even just simple things like peanut butter. We've transitioned from Jiffy or another brand to this, which is 100% natural. You look at the ingredients, it just says peanuts. And this tastes really different. It does have oil on it. You have to stir it up. It's not homogenized or hydrolyzed. Yeah, so if you look here, we've got roasted peanuts. We have sugar. We don't need to add the sugar. And then fully hydrogenated vegetable oils. So something we chose to cut out was added sugars and try to have healthier oils in our pantry. Cabinet next to where I cook, and we've transitioned to avocado oil spray instead of canola oil. I have an olive oil one, and I cook with now olive oil instead of canola or vegetable oil. So I thought that was a really easy switch. There's lots of different varieties, types, prices of olive oil. So just find one that works for you. So again, thinking about what foods you're going to transition to and identifying what those are. I went from the syrup to the syrup. Looking at the label, it just says maple syrup. It still has 26 grams of sugar for 2 tablespoons. This has 22 grams, but it's all comprised of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, all of these different ingredients, right? And my thing was just to eat more whole foods. But again, if you're targeting gluten or dyes, you've just got to start reading ingredients of if they're in there. So changing from this to this, pretty simple. You can get this bulk at Winco. Changing from this to this. These are only sold at certain stores like Macy's, Smith's. I'm out in the West. So sometimes you have to shop at different places. And then there's other things you can just get rid of. Okay, just wanting to look at some step down things. Again, we went from, you can go from regular ramen that has lots of ingredients, a lot of processed foods, to you could switch to something like this. This is something at Costco. However, some people's kids like this. My kids hated this. It's a really different texture because it's a rice noodle, and that's really different comparative to something like this, which we found at Walmart. This is 2 organic wheat, water, and sea salt, contains wheat. So if you're going gluten-free, this is not a good option for you. But if gluten isn't a target for you and your kids aren't liking other alternatives, this could be a great option. Something else that I, again, went a little too far on and then had to come back on was something like gravy mixes. This is something I could easily make, but when it's time and it's dinner time, I have already done a million things and I'm not going to make gravy. So that's one way I'm going to continue to step down, but I still have these on hand for when I need them. Another thing is mac and cheese. We changed from maybe like just generic mac and cheese to a lot of people like these. They're called Goodles. These are at Costco. You can find them at Walmart and other places as well. These are just better ingredients. Like they're made with different proteins and a lot of more natural ingredients. However, I've now just transitioned to just noodles. And to be honest, these are twice as expensive as a box of mac and cheese, and my kids will eat 2 of them. So financially, it is a lot smarter for me to do something like this. And I've actually really liked this because it's really scalable. I can make as much or as little as I want. All I do is I throw some half and half and some shredded cheese, some butter maybe, mix it all together, and I have mac and cheese. So sometimes switching to things that are simpler whole foods end up being easier and better transitions. Other places you can look at ingredients are also in your fridge. There is ketchup. A lot of times ketchup has added sugar or a lot of added sugar in it. This one is at Walmart and it has a lot less than others do. There's some things like different salad dressings or barbecue sauces that have different oils in them if that's something you're cutting out. I referenced a lady called Clean Simple Eats to have some references of different products out there that had more clean ingredients or maybe less oils and things like that. So don't be afraid to expand from just your pantry. Look in your fridge as well. Something that has drastically changed since I started this a year ago was just the amount of actual treats we even have on hand. I used to have an entire one of these totes for just kids' candy and things that they had options for, and we'd get so much and I would just store it there, and then it would get bad and we'd get rid of it. So now I've just condensed my kids' candy to a Ziploc freezer bag. This is what they have. Granted, my oldest is recently 6 and they're not allowed to just come in here and eat whatever they want at any time. So treats are limited in our house, but they still get a treat most days. Like every day they have a treat at some point still. But it is incredible to see that a bag like this we will not go through before the next holiday hits. This was full for Halloween. I just trashed it all and emptied it because by Christmas we needed more room. So I'm just constantly rotating, and they're not missing out on all this candy that they didn't eat. It's okay. My last thing I'll share is about baking. I do like to bake a lot, and some things with baking call for oil a lot. A big thing you can transition to is using butter, melted butter. Some recipes will specifically say you could use applesauce instead. Maybe you're switching to honey. For different sugar alternatives, there's different things out there, but that's just another tip that I found. Thanks for visiting my pantry with me. Maybe we'll visit some other pantries in the future, and hopefully this helps you get one step closer on your health journey and learning how to cut out ingredients and keeping your family healthier and happier.